All right, so that's the first scenario that we went over. And again, to recap, that was when we had a circle that had a center at 0, 0, or right at the origin. Now, the second thing that we can encounter is when a circle does not have a center at the origin, which honestly is going to be most of the time. So you might see a circle that's, maybe somewhere in the corner over here, or it might be down on the other side. So these are also equations that we need to know how to graph. And conveniently, the equation form is very, very similar. So if your center is at the point h comma k, so that's how they spell it out. So your x value is your first one and your y value is your second one. Whatever that h comma k, x comma y ordered pair is, you just plug that into the exact same equation as before. So r squared, except this time it's not x squared plus y squared, it's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared. So again, it's all of h minus k and then square that, and all of y minus k and then square that. So things that you need to know in order to fill in this equation correctly: you need to have your radius or your r value defined. You also need to know what the center of your circle is, what your h comma k point is. And literally, if you have just those two things, you're ready to graph it and to show that equation. So for example, if we start off over here, this one is over 4 and up 5. Our h comma k is over 4 and up 5. And if we look at the radius of this circle, it looks like we're about 2. So the radius from here to here is about 2 points over. So in all directions, we're going over by 2, over by 2. So again, basically estimating that, looking at the graph, seeing how many jumps do we take going up for that. So the equation for this circle, our h comma k, is here. So r squared is 2 squared equals x minus h, which is 4, squared, plus y minus k, which is 5, squared. So to be very clear about where this came from, our h value is here, our k value is here, and then we got our r value and plugged it in here. And again, we used this equation. So r, h, and then k. So as long as you have those things, you have your equation. So to simplify this further, 4 equals x minus 4 all squared plus y minus 5 all squared. To do a second one here, it looks like this one is to the left by 8, and then it looks like we go down by, again, just estimating here, about 6. So our h comma k for this one is negative 8 to the left, 6 down. Let's see if we can measure about what our radius is here. That's about 1, 2, 3. So about 3 over in all directions, up, down, left, or right. So radius here is 3. Our center is negative 8 comma negative 6. So now we can put that into our form here. All right, so let's see the best place to do this. So maybe I'll do it right next to it here. Radius, h, and k. So radius squared equals x minus our h value. And in this case, it's minus negative 8, so I've got to be careful plugging that in, plus y minus negative 6. And again, that negative 6, we can highlight that in red here. So that would be our full equation. And of course, we would want to go through and simplify this. And I'll write it right above. So 3 squared gets us 9 equals x plus 8 plus y plus 6 squared. And that would be the equation for our circle. And I'll highlight that in green, our full final answer here. So again, by taking what we have, we can simplify it, plug in our values. And the important thing about this one, why this was an example, is if you have two negatives, the two negatives cancel to get us the positive value that we have there. So again, be careful plugging in that radius. Make sure you square it. Be careful finding h comma k. Make sure that when you plug those in, whether negative or positive, you are not making mistakes with those signs. If you do those things, honestly, this is just a day of taking an equation and plugging in values. And that's quite literally all you need to do. So if you have this equation down here, if you're ready to go with the centers of your circles, you're going to be in really good shape for today. Again, just be careful identifying that radius and identifying the center. But if those steps are solid for you, you have this in your notes, you're going to be all set for today. As always, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. Reach out with questions. We are here to help, and I'll see you in class.